But through it all, we've persevered, supporting some of the biggest ideas in modern history. So why should our anniversary matter to you? Because for 200 years, we've been helping ideas move from ambition to achievement. And the next great idea could be yours.
Want to enter the world of limitless opportunities like I did? TradeIndia.com is the answer. The most effective platform for global buyers and sellers. TradeIndia.com gives you access to the world, making it a smaller place.
I welcome you all to the Citi India Commercial Bank Thought Leadership Conclave in association with the Economic Times. I would like to thank the Deputy Governor of the RBI, Dr. K.C. Chakrabarty, for gracing this occasion. I would also like to thank the Citibank India CCO, Mr. Pramit Javeri, our country business manager for the Global Consumer Group, Mr. Anand Selva Kesari, and Mr. Gaurang Harangadi, who heads the Commercial Bank for the Asia Pacific, for being here today. I am delighted to inform you that on 16th June 2012, Citi will complete 200 years of existence. On this momentous occasion, we would like to thank each and every one of our stakeholders who have made it possible for Citi to be a catalyst of progress through these years. The commercial bank at Citi covers the growing medium and small business segments by offering its global connectivity, supply chain linkages, and sophisticated product capabilities. Citibank is amongst the first foreign banks in India to have a dedicated business unit focused on emerging enterprises. With a share of over 10% of the country's GDP, the small and mid-market enterprises represents one of the highest growth opportunities for all of us. We believe that a large part of our client base will become the large corporate sector India in the future. We are delighted to host today's Thought Leadership Conclave exclusively for our commercial bank clients. I would now like to call upon Bodhisattva Ganguly, who is the Deputy Executive Editor of Economic Times, to come and share a few words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to acknowledge some of our distinguished guests, Dr. K.C. Chakrabarty, the Deputy Governor of RBI, Pramit, who heads Citi in India, Mr. Venu Srinivasan, Ms. Swati Piramal. So I'll just in fact, briefly introduce Dr. Chakrabarty. Dr. Chakrabarty is an accomplished, seasoned banker with over 3 decades of experience in commercial banking. He joined the Reserve Bank in June 2009, assuming the charge of Deputy Governor. Before taking his current responsibilities, he was CMD of Punjab National Bank, and before that of Indian Bank for about 2 years. He's also been the chairman of the Indian Bank Association for a brief period. His current assignment includes guiding and overseeing the areas pertaining to supervision of banks, currency management, customer service, HRD, and rural credit. He's the bank's nominee to the Financial Stability Board. So without much ado, can I ask him to deliver his opening remarks, controversial or otherwise? Thank you.
Good morning to all of you. Sri Bodhisattva Ganguly, Deputy Executive Editor, The Economic Times. Sri Pramit Javeri, Chief Executive Officer, Citibank. Of course, we have our great industrialists from the country, Mr. Venu Srinivasan, Mrs. Swati Piramal, and other distinguished businessmen, industrialists, academicians, people from the media, especially Senior Editor ET, Mrs. Paramita Chatterjee, people from the Citibank, distinguished panelists, distinguished guests, members of the print and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen. Let me at the outset congratulate Citibank for about to complete 200 years of its existence. I am also thankful to Economic Times that they have taken up this particular seminar in the true spirit. Now the topic of this seminar is empowering the growth of emerging enterprises. When we are talking of emerging enterprises, we have to invariably talk of small and medium enterprises, because what I see Any country's manufacturing sector will grow only with the help of, if we are having abundant number of vibrant small and medium enterprises. SMEs plays a critical role in the economic and social development of emerging markets, and their role needs to be strengthened further in view of their contribution towards fostering equitable growth and employment generation. It is imperative to enhance SMEs' competitiveness, which require the creation of enabling legal, regulatory and administrative environment, access to finance and capable institutional structure, and most importantly, human capital. Efforts should be made to take full advantage of opportunities made available by globalization. This is possible only through enhancing efficiency and competitiveness of the enterprises, to continuous technological innovation, quality improvement, better access to finance, diversification into new geographies and markets, modernization, adoption of better risk management and corporate governance practices, better human resource management, better infrastructure, investment climate reform, etc. SMEs on their part should strive hard to take advantage of the opportunities presented by this rapidly changing business environment and should keep on evolving, staying clear of all the potential pitfalls that confront them in their natural progression from small enterprises to large corporations or even into multinational corporations in future. I wish this particular seminar and workshop all the success, at least evolving some policy guidelines, some acceptance. Thank you very much.
We'll now have a lamp lighting ceremony, so may I request Pramit to join us.
Commercial Bank business of Citi.
Introducing the Dell XPS 13 Ultrabook, inspired by Intel, powered by second-generation Intel Core i7 processor, crafted to perfection.
High performance delivered. It's how we help our clients succeed. 50,000 calls a day for New York City. Delivered. $7 billion in online sales for Marriott. Delivered. 1 billion euros in savings for Unilever. Delivered. A 30% increase in attendance for the Royal Shakespeare Company. Delivered. Around the world, in every industry, across consulting, technology, and outsourcing, we deliver. Accenture. High performance delivered.
New Godrej Eon. Less power than a hairdryer. Godrej Eon, India's most energy-efficient air conditioner.
Let's focus on the panel discussions. I'm Paramita Chatterjee with ET Now, and as part of our first discussion this morning, it gives me great pleasure to call on stage the panelists for this round. Dr. Swati Piramal, the Director of Strategic Alliances and Communications at Piramal Healthcare. Mr. Venu Srinivasan, the Chairman of TVS Motor Company. Mr. Gaurang Hattangari, the MD and Head Asia APAC Commercial Bank at Citibank. And Mr. Mateg Merlak, who's the Chairman of the Europe-India SME Business Council. Ladies and gentlemen, many thanks for joining us on the panel. Right, Dr. Chakravarti spoke about key issues, and as I said, today in the audience, we hope to really answer some of the questions as far as emerging enterprises are concerned and focus on the challenges, how to convert them into opportunities. And let me start it off with you, Venu Srinivasan. You know, as somebody who has clearly grown his own company, both within domestically as well as outside, for companies now who want to go out and address newer markets, what should be the key enablers or the key issues that they should be starting off with?
I think there are a few issues that really come to mind. The first is, how do you manage beyond line of sight? I think beyond line of sight, when you manage your review control mechanisms and the way you track information, your MIS has to be of a much better nature than when everything is in your line of sight. The second issue is obviously it should have been the first issue, but I deliberately put it second, is people. You need to build competence in your people and develop an organization. The third issue becomes risk. Suddenly what happens, you have a lot of risks. So broadly, any entrepreneur who's does not have to overnight do these things. These things are built layer by layer. No organization really in reality grows overnight. Rome is not built in a day.
Absolutely. So clearly there are many layers to this. Swati, let me start with you. For Piramal Healthcare, take us to the starting point when you actually went and decided to branch out and approach some of these newer markets. What was the thought process?
Well, Piramal Healthcare started as a small company, a pharmaceutical company, but today it is a conglomerate. So to add to what Venu is saying, is sometimes not only in one business, sometimes it's in many different businesses, and there is the issue of how much should you put into a new business, what kind of business is it, should you look all over the world, where should you find it. So today 70% of our revenue is from abroad.
Gaurang, let me come to you. At this point in time, in the current environment, banks and financial institutions are fairly skeptical. They're scared. They've been burnt. So, the model that Swati has spoken about, in terms of companies coming to you, and I'm not saying specifically in your bank, I'm just talking broadly in the sector, and, really trying to come up with newer ideas and really wanting to go out there and try and conquer the world, so to speak. They have to have their feet grounded in reality. What is the reality today with companies who want to go ahead and tap markets, whether it is in terms of financing and really in terms of the strategy that they should have in place?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. So, to add to both what Venu and Swati said, in Citi, in our commercial bank, we deal with all sorts of small and mid-sized companies. So, there is a wide range. So, you have auto component companies, you have pharmaceutical companies, you also have service companies. And I think, like you said, the environment now is quite different from about 5 years ago when there was exuberance. Today, I think the environment is uncertain. There is a lot more volatility in the system, both in financial markets and in commodity markets. So I think the need to have a clear focus strategy is really important. Whether you're expanding locally or internationally, you need to be very clear about why you're doing it.
Right, okay, so have that clear strategy in place. So if we've got Matek here, and you're representing the European arena, which sort of gives us a case study. If I, as a company, want to go ahead, I have that clear strategy, maybe even an innovative product. The fact of the matter is, and I have access to capital, if a lot of ifs and buts on the way. Europe, which right now is sort of a case study in perhaps, a market which is in doldrums and in a lot of confusion. Perhaps as an Indian company, I'll say, listen, that's the last market I should approach. How would you respond to that? What should be my strategy specifically when it comes to the European market?
When I try to tap the European market, I will tap first small country. Why? Because I can build up references, very good references, small markets. It doesn't require so big capacities also of the company, from the sense of the capital, from the sense of manpower, etc., etc. These are 2 points which I would like to first highlight it. But the other points are in a second step. I would like to tap and get a very good and big and strong strategic local partner. So with this local partner, we can be much stronger when we try to expand the business. And also the risks are much lower. Why? Because this local partner can enable us and open new channels.
Key learnings, key takeaways. Venu, let me start with you. Sort of a bullet point strategy. We've been talking a lot about strategy, but a bullet point strategy, we always like to summarize it quickly on TV, but what would you say?
I think what I said at the beginning, a clear idea of your vision and mission. I think a compelling vision that drives you and your strategy to go. Two, I think you must then take the people issues, the financial risks, the jurisdictional risks, and do it step by step. The key thing when you're going overseas is make sure that your first beachhead is solid.